Another 3 points, another W in the win column. We maintain our status as the current 5th best team in the Premier League. There are 4 gentlemen here who would love to chat about it. One gentleman who's just going to listen to them chat about it, and he might yell. Who knows? We'll see what happens and where the night takes us. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody? It feels good to be back here having some good footy talk with these fine gentlemen, especially after an Arsenal win, an Arsenal clean sheet, albeit against a team that's most likely going to get relegated. But those are the kinds of games that you're supposed to win. Stan, Glenn, Ryan, Rowan, I am the Bearded Gooner. You guys know who I am. Let's get into it. Stan, we'll start with you. How are you, sir?
What's up?
What's up?
Sorry, I've been on a set all day that's been dressed like the mid-90s. So I've been talking like 90s all day and dressed like fucking, I told you earlier, they fucking put this outfit on me. And I'm like, what's this about? And they're like, you're supposed to look like you're in the mid-90s. I'm like, listen, the only person that wore trousers like this in the mid-90s was MC Hammer. That's how bad the trousers were. Can't touch this. But other than that, I'm fine and looking forward to the show tonight with everyone.
Yeah, good stuff. So when you told me that, I had to have a chuckle because
crazy. Should have seen these guys.
I remember wearing suits like that to like school dances and whatnot. You know, like I had to get like the 3-button jacket and Anyway,
there was a lot of older gentlemen dressed that they looked like they'd all shopped at the same place that Stan Kroenke gets his suits.
Well put. Glenn, out there in New York. How's it?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me again, BG. Stan, you know, the 90s, this is the way I dressed in the 90s. If you look with the plaid shirt and the
mate, we could have had you on set today.
And shorts and the hat. I dressed that way for 10 years. I'm glad to be here with you guys. I hope I don't have to argue with you too much because I am happy as an Arsenal supporter right now. And over on my YouTube channel, you can see my 4 reasons why I'm happy. Okay, throw it down below me to the dickhead now.
That's true. I can't really introduce him any better than that. So.
Oh, Glenn, I'm sure we'll get into it. But yes, again, I'm gonna. Glenn, I always retweet yourself because your videos are amazing. But again, cameo to a great movie that I loved as a kid, kind of dating me a little bit, but The Invisible Man, the good one. Yeah, Chevy Chase. That's where I actually grew up. I love Chevy Chase.
What was that?
Claude Rains. He's the Invisible Man, isn't he? Claude Rains.
Yeah, but this.
The best one for me is Chevy Chase.
Chevy did one.
Yeah,
I feel really old. I feel really old. That reference point was a black and white version of the Invisible Man.
I don't know what black and white even is. Shout out to Invisible Man and Glenn's video because it's awesome. Even though he loves talking about Arteta. Dun dun dun. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. Talk about
I just want to. I'm in a gaslight mood today. So beer of the week. I mean,
gaslight mood. Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
When are you not?
True. Fair point. My beer of the week. We beat Newcastle, a team that has gone winless. Actually won me some money today. I bet the draw against Norwich. So yay me.
Nice.
Which actually, I have a story for that for the Arsenal game. But anyways, Newcastle, it's a team we just always win. We always beat them. I think we have the best record against them. Like we're really good, and we played well. And so my beer of the week is Old Chub Scotch Ale. Because you know what, we had an interesting game against Liverpool. Ran off the pitch, and you know what? Back to the old Chubb. Get back on the horse. Get a nice 2-0 victory against a team that we're known to beat. So it's gonna be good, and I can't wait to discuss it with you guys further.
Hold on. I thought you was going to say that you chose that beer because watching Arsenal now is, now again giving you a chubby every time you watch.
That's where I
mean,
thought he was going with it, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, it is, but I guess I wanted to be more specific to the game. But yeah, it is. I won't lie. It's nice watching the team play again.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And certainly last but not least, Rowan, try to follow that up.
Missed you guys last week. As you know, between last week and this week, there was Thanksgiving here, so had an awesome Thanksgiving up in Vermont. Watched the game early in the morning, and nothing better than a 2-0 win on the first game of the weekend, right? So got that done. I was looking forward to the game so much that I had set an alarm for myself for 7:15 in the morning on Thursday night. I woke up on Friday disoriented after all the food, and then I realized that it was Friday and it's not Saturday because already it seemed like the weekend was in, right? So, but it was amazing, and that meant that I could watch all the other games in peace. I was driving back from Vermont. I handed the wheel over to Sarah. I could watch the United game and watch them drop points against Chelsea, which was great because Chelsea are not our competition right now, but it feels good to see them lose some points, and especially United losing some points as well, which makes next week, which makes day after, in fact, just that much more important, right? Let's keep the distance. I tweeted after their game that we must not lose that game. As long as we put in a performance, a draw wouldn't be the worst result because the other games coming up are winnable. An out of form Everton, etc. But we must not get beat there. It's an interim manager. He doesn't know what he's doing. We've got our starting 11 set up, and Tavares, what a game he had, and I'm gonna talk about him with
So,
you guys.
mate.
You guys think about that now. So I know that Glenn there has been itching to say something. So
Yeah.
Right ahead.
He's muted. Don't let him talk. He can't even talk. See? Oh.
Glenn, you're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, Glenn. Yeah.
Glenn, unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Glenn,
he doesn't
Glenn,
even care.
Glenn,
He doesn't
unmute
even
yourself.
care. Look at that.
I've noticed that when we start a show, I just noticed something. Every time we start a show here, us three at the top, we always just talk about how fucking shit our week has been, or maybe how good it's been. but these two, they go straight in. So next
yeah.
I'm going. When you come to me, I'm going straight in and getting my shit in before anyone else. I get all my good shit in about the football before you lot.
This is pertinent to a mostly American show, BG. And Rohan reminded me because I wanted to ask all of you this question, and he answered it already. I was going to complain about a 7:30 game, and then I remembered that friggin' Stan at 4:30. Stan, did you get up for that, or did you just sleep, not go on social media, and watch?
Listen, before I used to have DAZN, and I was having to fucking stream games live, I was getting up, man, live. But now I'm like, fuck that shit, because it just messes my day up. If I get up at 4:30, I can't go back to bed after the match because there's other stuff happening. And then I spend the whole day in this groggy funk that my missus hates. She hates it when I'm in that. So I just get up at around my usual time, about 9-ish, and watch the replay and avoid social media.
Yeah. Ryan, did you watch it live?
I did. Yes, I got up, and I had work after that, so it sucked.
BG, you watch it live? You probably were just getting home.
Saturday was a big day.
Here we go.
Saturday was a big day. So I don't know if you guys can see. Ryan, move your hand. There's a mushroom stamp on Ryan's forehead because I swore to him that if Michigan would beat Ohio State on Saturday, I was going up there and I was mushroom stamping him. Well, guess what happened?
Oh, really?
Michigan beat Ohio State, baby.
And for all you non-college football fans, it's like probably the biggest rivalry in college football.
It is the biggest rivalry in college football.
So for
It's
context,
one of the biggest rivalries in American sports.
I guess the best way to put it would be if Tottenham did the double over on us. I mean, I think we'll disagree with this, but if Tottenham did the double over us, but we win the Premier League, I think we'll kind of be like, yeah, we won, but like Tottenham beat us twice. It's like similar where Ohio State and Michigan, the loser of that game, if they go on and win the college football championship, it's kind of like people say it's like an asterisk because you lost a big game. So yeah, it's a very, very big game. I saw a lot of fights on YouTube during the game between fans and the actual team. So it was a crazy game.
And in fact, Ohio was the favorite going in, right?
Yeah, I would say it's the favorite.
May I just ask, is this the first time that you two had actually met in real life?
No, I didn't go up there.
Oh, but you went there for the wedding.
I thought you were up there too.
I think the real question is, you guys
to take my wiener out and smack it off his forehead.
I was gonna say I don't think they know what a mushroom stamp is.
But you did. You did
I
go
look
to
it
the
up.
wedding though recently and meet each other, right?
We did.
You
Yeah.
was at
Yes.
the wedding together, and that's the first time you met each other in real life.
Yeah, we got married.
So here's the question: did you actually like each other? Did you actually like each other in real life? Had to spend more than an hour, 2 hours
I'm
with each other.
gonna admit this to everybody, and I actually told two of my friends that were there the night I met Tanner.
What, Tanner's a cunt.
No. He reminded me. It wasn't your. Well, I guess it was your fault, but it was like what he was wearing. He reminded me of
1994.
I was just going to say 1990. I was just going to say
No.
1990.
I mean, yeah, you did look a little outdated, but he reminded me of high school with who I was actually really good friends with growing up.
My high school bully.
And yeah. Funny enough, the guy's a real dick, and I actually grew to like hate him, and he's an asshole. So I was like laughing with one of my friends. I was like, "Doesn't he look like?" I'm not gonna say his name on air, but doesn't he look like so and so? And he's like, "Yeah, he does." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck that guy." Not you.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Congratulations, Ryan, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to meet Ryan in real life unless when I'm talking to him I can do this. You know, that I wouldn't mind at all.
I'd love to meet Glenn in real life. I'd just take the batteries out of my hearing aid.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to meet Glenn in real life, but I don't think it would ever happen because just trying to coordinate the meeting, he would erase all the messages and then he'd smoke himself stupid and forget where the fuck to meet. So it would just never happen.
I'm not. You act like I'm so old. Whatever your name is.
See, I was gonna be nice. I was gonna say I wanted to meet Glenn because I see him as an older brother, and I would just tease him like the little brother that I would be.
And
Okay,
real quick, before we get on to Arsenal, you are going to meet me next July, BG, because I'm coming to your area for the Walking Dead tour at the mall where they filmed Dawn of the Dead. Okay, on to Arsenal.
Oh, but haven't you heard, Glenn? Tanner's out that night. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just give me the Brady Bunch. Something suddenly came up, and I'll know.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So let's say nobody. I don't think the 16 people that are watching us live right now showed up here to listen to us. I mean, this is like, I love this though. That's what makes this show great because the five of us can just sit here, we just bullshit with one another. This is awesome. I love this. So, fuck, man, I don't know. I'm off my game now after that conversation. Who wants to start? Newcastle. Yeah, Stan, start. Talk to me about Newcastle. Go.
You know what? For me, with that Newcastle game, it was like, are we going to come out feeling sorry for ourselves because of Liverpool licking our wounds and we're going to fucking be that team that's the first team that allows Newcastle to win? I didn't want to get that moniker. I wasn't interested in any of that. So there was a little bit of that intrepidation going about me because we've not seen how this team reacts, right? Because we've got a nice 10-run game and then we have the loss to Liverpool. But what I liked is that we are able to go back to business. And the most crucial thing about this team at the moment, which I think is one of the biggest changes that I'm starting to see since the Wenger era, is that we're looking like we're able to start getting the points against the teams that we should be getting the points from. If we can do that, if we can pick up points against your Watfords and your Brightons and teams like that, which I would call the lesser teams, and take care of that business, then we can start thinking about, well, how do we now become competitive and get something out of games like, you know, against the Man Cities and the Liverpools of this world. So, yeah, I was really pleased that we managed to continue to pick up points, and that now we can hopefully start another 10-run game. Run.
Yeah. Glenn?
My biggest takeaway from the game started at pregame. I wanted Maitland-Niles next to Partey, and I did not want Tavares to start. I wanted Tierney to start, but I learned that Arteta has gotten really good at picking starting 11s, and despite my feelings, which I did not express on social media, Lokonga could have been Lokonga created 4 big chances in the first half, and Tavares could have been man of the match. Arteta had them both in, got it right, made an adjustment at halftime strategically that changed the game. I am extremely happy Arsenal supporter right now.
I want to ask all of you real quick, just off of what Glenn just said. Is Nuno Tavares the starting left back now? Has Kieran Tierney lost his starting role? Anybody jump in?
I'd like to say something about this quite quickly. The thing is with Nuno Tavares, I go all the way back to when we bought Kieran Tierney and the first few games of how Kieran Tierney performed for us. All of us were like, fucking hell, we love this lad. He has to be the next captain. And we love the way that he goes marauding up that left-hand side, the way that he plays his game. And you're kind of seeing the same thing happening with Nuno Tavares, and which is good. But what I don't like is it's like now that we have to start getting into the conversation of who's better, either or. And that really pisses me off. I'm like, we have both of them. Be happy. There doesn't have to be an either or.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a good problem to have.
It's a excellent problem to have. If one of them's out of form or injured or needs a rest, we've got another guy that comes in and seems to be able to replicate a similar style of play. It's not like we've got 2 left backs and they're completely different, and it kind of unbalances the shape of the team. So, you know, it's good that Nuno Tavares is getting is getting the plaudits, but let's not forget about Kieran Tierney and how important that he still is to us. And as much love as Tavares is getting for the last game, you know, a lot of people saying he came in, he forgot about the Liverpool game, he picked himself up. I know a lot of people might not like what I'm about to say, but I was fucking disappointed with him in the first half. The guy's taking all these fucking pot shots from everywhere.
Yeah.
And
I just wanted to add something, Stan, to that. I want to add and then continue, because I just heard this today from a friend. He never heard this before at an Arsenal game. When Tavares had the ball, they were yelling, "Don't shoot." I didn't know they were doing that. It didn't come across on the television.
Because they were saying don't shoot, because they all know that those 6 shots that he took, those balls are now sat on the moon, right nestled next to Thomas Partey's past efforts. And I was watching the game in that first half, and I was really watching Aubameyang. He was like who I was spending most of my time watching, and I'm sure we're going to talk about him later. I'm not leaving the Nuno Tavares thing, but it looked to me that a lot of players now are taking these wild pot shots, and it's almost like they're sort of like bypassing Aubameyang. You know, they're bypassing the striker. But then when the striker does get his chance, and I'm sure we're going to go into it later, he fluffs his lines. And I'm beginning to wonder if some players in our team have lost confidence in our striker, and they're running up with the ball. And rather than trying to like get the ball to Aubameyang, who might be in the box, they're taking these wild hoofing shots. But don't get me wrong, I love Nuno Tavares. I'm happy that we've got him. We paid literally buttons for him, and I think it's a nice problem to have 2 competent left backs. It doesn't have to be either or. We've got both.
I'll be real quick because I know Rohan and Ryan are probably dying to answer this. I still like Tierney a little better. He's definitely better, in my opinion, defensively, and right now offensively, Tavares looks really fucking good. But Tierney slight edge for me. I hope he starts against Manchester United.
It has to be an either or, right? Because there's only one spot and there are 2 players, so it has to be an either or between.
When I mean either order, I mean in that kind of thing, like this one's good, that one's shit. That one's good.
No, exactly.
Shit. Do you know what I mean?
The bottom line where we start is that both of them are great. You know, that's where we're starting. and it's a nice problem to have. Right now, the question is whether Tini just walks back into the team or Tavares keeps his place. And I would say Tavares keeps his place because he's that attacking for fullback. He just didn't stop running. I know the shots that he took, and it was frustrating because we hadn't scored till then. Especially then, it was frustrating that he was taking all of those shots. And there was a time when Wenger used to like fine people for taking those shots, and now it seems like it's allowed to do that. And I don't want us wasting attacks like that. But that was probably him trying to make up for the Liverpool game. But the pass that he made for Saka for the goal, taking up that position, and this was the review that Micah Richards did on Match of the Day, which was basically an old fullback wouldn't know what to do in that position, and he got into that position, and then he had the awareness that Saka was going to make that run, and he played a really good ball to him. I mean, it was a 2-yard ball, but still to make that ball at the right time with the right pace that Saka could run into and finish was amazing. So it's not because I think that he is better than Tierney. Right now he's in a rich vein of form, and he should continue that. And I think that's another outlet that we have, right? With the amount of running that he does, he's going to pin the other team's winger back if he does that sort of running, right? And I like that. He is a different sort of player as well, because he's more of an inside fullback compared to Tierney, who plays more on the outside. And we aren't really good at attacking crosses. And Tierney, for me, he was out of form and he was just smashing crosses, and there was nobody there to capitalize. Tavares is doing a little bit more than what Tierney was at least offering in the first few games. That is not to say that Tierney is bad. Tierney is amazing. He's probably going to be a future captain. Defensively, he's more solid. He's more experienced. All of those good things. But right now, Tavares, it's his place to lose. That for me. Ryan, you're on mute.
Oh, he left him on mute.
I said I wouldn't pull a Glenn, and what do you know? I do it. So, Rowan, I mean, what you said was true. I think Tierney's been kind of, been the guy that's just been smashing crosses in, and Tavares is kind of carrying the ball more, going to the middle of the field. Do you think that's tactics? Do you think it's the player, or do you think it's both? I'm curious what you think.
It's a bit of both, I would think. Okay. I would think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, and I guess my quick take on the whole situation is they're two different players. They just happen to play the same position. Again, Rohan actually said it perfectly. Kind of, Tierney's someone that's gonna ride the line a little more, be more physical. Make those cutting runs into the 18 from the side, whereas Tavares will carry the ball up. He'll go in the middle of the field. I think it's funny enough. I think Tierney's more of like a no-nonsense defender, and he has more of a defensive mentality. But I think Tavares has been playing really good defensively. And I think people have kind of been overlooking that. His assist to Saka was just to have that awareness, to have that no-look communication. It's vital, especially for a team as young as we are. So it's interesting. Part of me just says, you know what? Let's just go to a 4-3-3. Have Tavares play left midfielder, but we have so many people there. It's interesting.
I think he could play there, Ryan.
I do. No, I think that's probably his best position.
It's 88. Could we try and play both of them on that left side together? And I could see that happening.
I think we
or
could.
with Saka injured, he could even play further up, right? With Saka injured, that's a possibility.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, and again, I feel like I've talked about this ad nauseum. We have so many players that do so many different things, and yet they play similar positions. So it's very interesting to see, where we're taking this team and who's going to be along for the ride. And another interesting point you brought up about how you think Tierney's going to be the captain of this team, and I was like, he's getting the armband from Aubameyang. That's what's happening. I don't know now. I
don't know now either.
I think our back five is playing with such a our back five is just carrying us, and our back five is Saka and Martinelli scored, and they played well, and I'm not saying they didn't. And I mean the team played well, but our back five is just it's something. It's something else, and I could see maybe a Ben White or Gabriel getting the armband before.
Looking at Ramsdale at this, right?
Or Ramsdale. I guess me personally, I'm not a fan of goalies getting a ban, but yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I think had we bet in Tierney with Tavares, with Gabriel, with Ben White, with Tomiyasu, I think the same thing kind of could come about, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just so tough. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know how Tavares comes out of the lineup.
I just touching on that captain thing, I think it's quite telling that when we're talking about future captains, Thomas Partey's name not even mentioned, and you think of his age profile, you'd think that he should be in around that kind of a frame, right?
I mean, he wasn't really captain material even at Atletico, but yeah, I'm not. I never really thought of him as he's never really had that, and that's and that's actually something that I mean, we talk about it now, we talk about it later, but Partey was for me very interesting this game, and I mean, it's one game, so I don't want to say I learned everything I needed to know about him just from this game, but it was very interesting. And in my opinion, I think he took a back seat in this game, and it kind of showed that we're willing to play around him and without. We don't need him. And people are like, and I'm not saying Glenn's wrong here, but Glenn's always touting about how we need a partner for Partey. We need a partner for Partey. I don't even know if we need Partey. I just.
This place to Xhaka at this, right?
I don't think he's a bad player, but I just think he doesn't fit the profile, and he's not really wowing us. He's not sticking out in the midfield. For me, he's not. I think Lokonga is a little bit raw, and he makes mistakes. But I don't know. I just think Lokonga is just there, and he's willing to take the responsibility. He's willing to take the ball. He's willing to mess up, and then okay, cool, we're gonna go again. Whereas I feel like Partey kind of hides. And that's not something we need, especially with, and I will go back to what Glenn was saying last week, is we're not too present in the middle of the field further up the pitch. You have Ben White kind of carrying it for us, but he's a center back. So I don't know. Partey is just such an interesting situation because we had such high hopes for him. And I don't know. I think he's a placeholder. I think for right now, he's a placeholder for us to get someone younger and better.
And I have the perfect name.
Oh God.
Boubacar Kamara.
Yeah.
He's much more defensive minded, I think, than what Partey is.
But see, I'm gonna argue with Glenn too. I'll argue with Glenn. We don't need a defensive minded. That's our problem. We don't need a defensive minded center midfielder. We need our center midfielders to be pushing further up the pitch. Our back five is not to be fucked with. Why would you add another defender when our problem is our attack? Our problem is the attack.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you ever fear that you get outnumbered in attack and you want that fifth guy back there? Take that, not including Rams. So six. But based on the way you describe it, six. You'd want that sixth guy being that defensive midfielder.
No.
So you don't worry that we'd ever get outnumbered.
It's happened to us, and we defend pretty well. I'm not worried at all.
The way that I see it is if we could bring. I don't know, man. I get what you're saying. I'm not arguing. I think it's just a difference in philosophy between you and I. That's all. I
guess, but it's like, are we better defensively? Or are we better on the attack? We're better defensively.
But see, I think
and you say the other way. I think not
the only thing. No. I wouldn't disagree with you there. The only thing I would say is if we could bring in a bona fide CDM that's like just that holding defensive midfielder that never got any closer to goal than like 30 yards, probably not even 30, like 40. But that would free up 5 guys to go at it in attack because we know that one player, especially with as well as the back 5, including Aaron Ramsdale, are playing, they got this. Because I feel like we only attack with 3 or 4, very rarely 4 at a time.
But I don't think
I-
Partey or Lukonga really play defensively, so I don't really.
That's
agree with
what
that.
So
So
if
adding a defender doesn't do it. I don't think adding a defender would do anything.
no. What I'm saying, what I'm
Or I
what
meant
I'm
a
saying.
CDN. Excuse me.
So it would free up. I feel like how do I explain it? All right, so we've got the front three, and right now it's Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Bukayo Saka.
ESR.
So I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it's 4 because ESR jumps in there as well. So
Or was it Odegaard ahead of Lacazette?
Now, yeah. Fuck, I forgot about Odegaard.
I think it depends on the game, to be honest.
And
But yeah,
hopefully we'll touch on him a bit later as well.
I'm sorry. Ryan is turning my friggin' McDonald's into pure liquid poison in my stomach right now. I realize that some Arsenal fans have given up on Partey. Okay,
I didn't
I'm
say.
not gonna-
I don't include me in that. I didn't say gave up on him.
Oh,
I just don't think he's going to be the player that everyone thinks he's going to be or wants him to be.
Okay, he was going to be.
I'm just going to say I'm with BG on this. That a proven solid DM will free up Partey to spray passes and take more shots, and hopefully not.
You want Partey to shoot more?
Yes, I do. He has a hell of a shot. Shut up. And also, before I go.
Wait,
this
what?
happened like 15 minutes ago. Somebody's watching. You put him up in the comments. One of the greatest names I've heard for an Arsenal show. On the Stoop, Brooklyn AFC. If you're still watching, I'm gonna check it out. I wrote it down. I love new shows.
Yeah, it's Lolo, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I was in your area in the last couple of months at Brooklyn Steel, lugging my Devil Spawn to a couple of concerts. So anyway, go ahead, BG.
Glenn, I think me and you should make an appearance on it. That would boost the ratings.
It's just I think it's just between Ryan and I think it's just a difference in philosophy. That's all.
It's funny because I agree with what you're saying. I just don't think this team needs another defensive presence. We have a phenomenal back five, and I won't even include Renzo. I'll say a phenomenal back four. We have a phenomenal back four. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about our center midfielders. I want center midfielders that can run. I'm not saying let's put Tavares in there, but I want a center midfielder like a Tavares who's gonna run around like a crazy person. I want to say I'll say Guendouzi, but he's more like Lukonga.
I was going to say like Lucas Torreira.
I want someone who I want someone a little more physical.
Stan.
I don't think Torreira's physical enough in the Premier League to do what we want him to do.
Let's move on to what really had the fan base buzzing after Saturday, and that is one Gabriel Martinelli in that silky smooth finish of his. Boy, oh boy!
Okay.
What?
It
wasn't?
the way it was a nice goal. I don't know if I would have went Barry White and said silky smooth. But
Okay, well,
I definitely would.
If I'd have gone, whoa! If I'd have gone Barry White, it would have been silky.
All right, yeah, and he's gonna do it.
And you know what else was silky smooth? The other thing that was silky smooth besides that Martinelli goal was that Tomiyasu pass to Martinelli. Yeah. Holy crap, that was a great pass.
Everything in these two goals, the build up to like ESR's pass to Tavares, Tavares' assist on the Saka goal, the perfectly weighted ball from Tomiyasu to Martinelli. Martinelli's fit, Mike. It was, boy, they were pretty rowing. What do you think?
I think that Martinelli went up a couple notches. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say a name?
He did. It's still funny, Glenn.
It's just like.
Well, you know.
Rowan, go ahead.
Oh, what a pass by Tomiyasu. And again, it's him also going further up forward, because early in the season when he had just come into the team, he was playing like a third center back when Tini was going up, but now he's got a lot of touches in the opposition box. That play was really good. I've watched it back, that particular phase of play where Martinelli very smartly drifts into space, which is created by whoever was there. I can't remember right now, creating that space. He going there, and the lob pass that Tomiyasu played, it was all amazing. And to keep your eyes on the ball and that finish, it was just a slight touch to make that finish. And they said, right, like that the next day there's going to be many amateur footballers who are going to be trying it
I remember
on
that.
the field and going to be failing miserably. That was the type of thing, right? It's a bit of an antithesis of what Ramsdale does. I think he makes some saves look more difficult than they are. Love Ramsdale, and I love the photo op as well that he provides with that. And this one was the opposite of it. It was a much more difficult finish than what it looked like. So that, absolutely, like both the goals were amazing. The first one also reminiscent of the old Arsenal. The second one, some individual brilliance, and showing that he said that after the game as well, be it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes that he comes on, he's ready. And that's the level of preparation, and we're going to need that, right? Saka is in all probability going to be out for the next game. So how are we going to play then? Is Lacazette going to go up top? Aubameyang goes to the left. Is that going to happen, or is Martinelli going to come into the team? I'm sure that we're going to talk about Manchester United as well, but all of this gives us options. What I want us to do is score more goals, because we're fifth on the table, but we've got a goal difference of -2. That's just not good enough, right? In the last 10 games, we're third on the table, on the form table, tied on points with 23 points. That's all of the points that we've got is in the last 10 games. But we've scored like 17 goals and we've conceded 8, right? So that's not good enough. We've just got to score more goals and concede a little bit less, because in the 2 games against Manchester City and Liverpool, we've conceded 9. So those are where the problems are. But the sequences of play were good. Enjoyed it. You're on mute now.
Oh, that means Rohan's next, or Stan.
Yeah, somebody else. Yeah, I mean, let's just at this point, Stan and Rowan, both mute yourselves. I'll come to you and let's just get it out of the way. But no, it's a good point, and I've been saying this for a while. The goal differential, we have to fix this. Like, we need a game where we go out and we just pummel someone 4-0, 5-0. We need that. We probably need 2 or 3, because we have to get this goal differential up. How much is it going to suck?
We're not going to do that.
I know, but I'm just saying, how much would it suck if we look at if this were the final table, we're level on points on 4th place, and we lose out on Champions League football because of goal differential? How much is that going to suck? When we look back at things like not even getting thrashed 5-0, 4-0 by City and Liverpool, but only beating Watford 1-0, only beating Norwich 1-0. Those are the ones that are going to haunt me, not the losses.
It's crazy. I could not disagree with you more. I'm not going to be upset at all. I mean, if it's 1 goal, if we lose that Champions League from 1 goal, yeah, maybe. But if
that's what I mean. That's what I'm not. I mean, because right now the goal difference between us and West Ham is like 11 or some such thing. It's crazy. But like that, it's like, no, okay, I'm not going to be upset about 11 goals. We're not getting that back. But if we miss out on like 2 or 3 goals, it would suck.
I would be more upset about our draw against Brighton. I wouldn't.
If we miss out,
there you go. That too. But yeah, sure.
Yeah,
if we miss out on anything because of 1 goal, then I don't know about you, but I'm going to stump up the money and I'm going to get that Dog the Bounty Hunter after Aubameyang. So
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, Martinelli. I guess this can we'll just get right into talking about United and Thursday. We as a fan base tend to overreact exactly in both ways, right? Somebody has a poor game, drop him, done. He's finished out here. But Martinelli scores a beautiful goal, and now Martinelli has to start. Now, Martinelli probably should start, given Bukayo Saka probably won't. So let's just say we're healthy. Would you start this weekend, or excuse me, Thursday? Would you start? Injuries notwithstanding, would you start Gabriel Martinelli, and who would you drop to be able to start him? Glenn, I'll start with you.
Well, you said Saka's hurt. Did you say? You said
Yeah.
somebody was hurt.
Saka's hurt. So
Saka's
Hey,
hurt.
where the fuck have you been? Saka,
So what-
Saka got hurt in that game. Did you watch it or what's
Yes,
going on
I
here?
Yes, I watch it.
You're
Ryan
asking
just
who's
keeps
hurt.
Ryan just keeps
Who's
throwing
hurt?
out this verbal bait for me, and I'm this fish looking at it,
Yeah,
wondering
You
if
know
I
why?
should
Because
bite.
Ryan knows if he throws enough of it, one will stick.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Thank you.
exactly. We
Stand
still have
up,
an
I
hour
said.
and 15 minutes of him throwing the bait out.
Something's coming. Something's gonna bite. I
Hey,
feel it.
real quick.
Look,
I just.
I want
Whoa,
Martinelli.
whoa! Hang on,
Shut the
time out.
fuck
I
up.
want to read this comment real quick. David Chumney in Georgia. Just want to big up you guys. I work third shift, and you guys get my night started just right every Tuesday. Always behind on the stream, so never tune into the chat, but love the show. David in Georgia, thank you very much.
Hi, David.
for the kind
Welcome,
words.
David.
That's awesome. Thank
Hi,
you, David.
David.
Welcome,
Right
David.
after the
Thank you, mate.
Colorado Gunner, though. Don't love you more than Colorado.
All right, so why do I have to
Sorry,
pick
Glenn,
somebody
go
to? Why do I have to pick somebody to sit if Saka's hurt and not playing?
No, because I want to know if Saka weren't hurt, where do you come down on Martinelli? getting
All
a
right,
start?
I'm not answering that part.
That's the question.
I would start. It's a two-part question. I refuse to answer the second part. It's speculation.
It's one question. What do you mean?
It's
Who are you starting against Man U? That's one
Yeah,
question.
if that's the question, I say Martinelli. And you know why? Because the guy, first of all, he's above Pepe in the pecking order for me now, as far as depth chart goes. Second thing, okay, Martinelli said not too long ago, if the manager gives me 10 or 15 minutes, I can show him what I'll do. What did he do? He backed up what he said. Put that hungry kid in there against Manchester United. What? That wasn't like a drop the mic moment. Somebody say something.
I'm just you wouldn't answer his question, but then you answered his question anyways. I mean, for me, it's easy. You're playing Saka. You're not playing Gabriel Martinelli. It's so interesting. So it's funny. Two of the bigger things that I saw at the Newcastle game were, he's amazing. Gabriel Martinelli. He's got to start against Man U. I said two teams wrong. And then I saw, Pepe's gone in January. That's it. He's done. And I think both things can be true. I think both things could be bullshit. I think that Martinelli, I said this last week, I think Pepe has kind of shown a little bit of disinterest after the Palace game. But more than that, I think Newcastle is a team that struggles with speed. They're a team that, when you watch their film, when you watch them play, all you have to do is just run at them, give them choices to make. And funny enough, Lascelles, where the fuck his name is, he is number one in the Premier League at conceding penalties. Should have conceded one against us because he ran at Martinelli, didn't even try. You could argue he went for the head. I don't really care. He wasn't even looking at the ball. He saw Martinelli, he targeted him, and he went for it. And to me, it's I don't know how that wasn't a penalty, but whatever.
Wasn't.
But yeah, you said it wasn't a penalty.
Go ahead, go.
Yeah. See, yeah, he looks like the mentor. Looks like the students learning. From the
No,
teacher.
please. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry. Look, I'm muting my mic. I'm muting.
No, so what I'm going to say, long story short, was I think Martinelli was a really good matchup against Newcastle. He's a fast player that's very direct, and he runs at them, and he gave them a lot of problems. And I'm not saying he can't do it against Man U. I just don't think he is going to be able to do that for 90 minutes. I think he's someone you bring on later on. And
so he's a super sub.
Yeah, for right now, I think he can be really good. I think he's in the same boat as like a Lokonga, where he's just very raw and he's still going to make mistakes. And I think tactically, I don't think he's there yet. But just based on his, his instincts and what he knows, I think he's great. He's fast. He's great at getting to where he needs to be and controlling the ball. He's everything Saka isn't. Saka's. Last week, what is Saka really bad at? He can't finish. I mean, yeah, he scored against Newcastle. It was a great goal.
But Saka is everything that Martinelli isn't.
Yes, no, exactly.
It's
and that's why I think whatever. Anyways, all I'm going to say is I think Martinelli is his two attributes that I like the most about him is he's fast and he can do a really good job controlling the ball and finishing inside the box. Which two things I think Saka's quick. I wouldn't put him in Martinelli's bracket in terms of speed. So I just think that's how Martinelli excelled. I think Martinelli excelled because of Newcastle's ineptitude in defense and dealing with the speed. Now, again, and I retweeted this today, Harry Maguire is available for selection. So that, I think, is a huge boost for us. That got me excited. And I think that is someone that Martinelli can expose.
Wait, you said is not available for selection.
So he is.
Listen,
He
my
is.
fucking man
He is.
could-
He is.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
He
is.
got a one match red card, no?
Yeah.
My
'cause
fucking
yes,
man,
yeah.
my fucking man could expose Maguire. So
No, I know that, but I
So-
think but I'm just saying, I think they're McTominay, Fred. I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but all I'm saying is I think Martinelli's good at something. I think Saka's good at something, but I think overall, I think Saka's the better player. I think Martinelli still has a lot to learn, and I think Martinelli is that guy that's going to come on late and make some magic happen.
I think that if everybody was fit for this game, the United game, it's such a big game away at Old Trafford that I wouldn't change the starting lineup. I would keep it the same. But we play like 7 games now, one's down, 7 games in like 35 days, 36 days or something like that. So we're playing every 3 days, and I don't think any of these players will play all of these games. So, Martinelli will get his chance. But for me, it wouldn't be at Old Trafford because of the importance of that game solely, not because of anything else, and the fact that Martinelli hasn't played enough with the team. So I would keep the winning lineup there, but that's not the case. And Saka is injured, and I don't think it's a serious injury. So now the question is, do you play? And I'll throw this back at you. And I know Stan has an answer. So Stan,
That's what I was gonna. All right, thank you, Rohan. Go.
So-
I was gonna say the same thing.
So is it play Martinelli for a like substitute for Saka, or get Lacazette in, move
Well,
Aubameyang
that's
to
not
the
what I
left,
was gonna say.
move Aubameyang to the left, get Odegaard in, like keep the same lineup except get Lacazette in. So who comes in? Does Martinelli come in for the United game, or does Lacazette come in for the United game?
Rob,
Stan, take it all. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before I get into that, right? You've talked about Martinelli's goal, and you've talked about whether Martinelli should be starting ahead of anyone, right? And I've just sat and listened to all of that, right? So sit back.
At least you're honest about it.
So put yourselves on mute for a minute. Martinelli's goal, first of all, for me, right? Before I get into Martinelli's goal, you have to reel it back to the assist from my man TT playing at right back, right? And I've got his stats here for the game. Takiro Tomiyasu, right? He had 96 total touches in the game. He had an 89% pass accuracy, 3 attempted tackles, 3 successful tackles from the 3 he attempted. He attempted 3 dribbles. He completed 2 of them. Not bad for a right back. He created 2 chances and got an assist. And for me, that's why he was my man of the match. The pass was sublime. And it's funny now because it's getting to that stage now that when I think of Arsenal sublime goals, they seem to be coming against Newcastle. And I'm going to really all the way back to that goal by Dennis Bergkamp, which is my ultimate all-time favourite Arsenal goal. And for me, maybe I'm a bit biased because it was Dennis. It is one of my all-time favourite goals when he turned fucking Dibazayas left and then the other way. And I'm not saying that Martinelli reminded me of Dennis Bergkamp because Dennis Bergkamp's never going to run all the way up the pitch like he did. But the finish, the technique in that finish, there were so many things that Martinelli had to get right to get that ball in the back of the net, much like Dennis Bergkamp did when he scored his goal. And it shows you that he's got a very, very, very good technical ability and confidence. So that's what I thought of the goal. I thought it was a peach. That's the word that I would use to describe it. Peach. I've got a gif of some bloke and he's doing this. That is the gift for that goal. I mean, I loved everything about it, and that's why I'm glad that Martinelli is one of our own. So moving on to the next bit now about him playing more regularly. I like the way that can be used as another tool in the drawer, another weapon in the arsenal to come on off the bench. What I don't want, no, it's no good bringing him on. It's no good bringing him on in the 86th minute. If the guy's going to do anything, then he has to have a little bit of game time ahead of him to do the magic. And yes, he came on and he scored within, what was it, 63 seconds of coming on. But I like him to come on a little bit earlier. Now that Saka is injured, I have to go back to what I said right at the beginning of the season when we were talking about the team and the roles that players could play. And I said that, you know, looking at the wings, you know, if Saka is unable to play, if Pepe is unable to play, we have a player like Martinelli that should be used for rotation. We don't have to burn players out. Now is the right time for me. If Saka is unable to play, why not start Martinelli? You know, it's either going to be him or Pepe. And I think if we start Pepe, that I'm a little bit with Pepe, and I'm sure we're going to maybe talk about him a little bit later. But if we go that route, and we still need some stuff to be done in the game, Martinelli needs to come on with minutes to play. He has to be able to be given the chance to get into the game and make an impact. But I'm not against starting him either. And at the moment, just based on form, I'd start him ahead of Pepe. So there's that. What was the last bit?
I don't know.
Rowan,
Would you play Lacazette up top, Aubameyang?
Oh, yes.
Guys, can I just please?
Hold on.
If you just give me 15 seconds, because this conversation, because you guys teased me about Saka, I looked up the latest news on him, and Arsenal are optimistic there's no major damage, and it's even a possibility that he might play against Manchester United. So please, let's address this topic of Martinelli that way, okay? If I would not take any chances with Saka and start Martinelli, I'm just amending my answer based on the latest news.
Aubameyang needs to sit. There are times when the manager needs to know when a player needs to sit. Right now, I'm in that place where, as far as I can see, Aubameyang's been given enough opportunities to play himself into form. He hasn't done that. It's now time for him to sit. So based on that, I would play Lacazette in his position, and I would play Odegaard in that position behind the striker. Because if you remember the last time that we were here and we were talking about looking forward to the Newcastle game, I spoke a little bit of time about where I thought the best position for Odegaard was. And I feel that one of his best positions is behind the striker. And maybe we'll talk about Odegaard coming up, but I'm going to put a pin in that for now, because I'd like to come back at some stage and talk about how I thought he was in the game as well. But yeah, I would say that it's time for Oba to sit now. Right, it's time for him to sit, and I think it's time for somebody else to be given the the opportunity to play through the middle. Whether that's Lacazette, and he probably gets it because of seniority.
Yeah,
Balogun, not in this game. Not in this game. I know he's been lighting it up in the under-23s, but not in this game. So I think it has to be an opportunity for Lacazette, Eddie on the bench, you know, as well. Maybe Aubameyang comes off the bench on that game, you know. Give it the other way around. Let Lacazette start. We see how we go with that, and we put Aubameyang in that place now where he should be coming on and saying, "This is why you should be starting me."
Okay, I gotta do a short answer.
Like what Martinelli did.
I love all of that, Stan. Love all of it. Lacazette. I don't want freaking Nketiah in there. And we saw Balogun in the first 3 games of the. Balogun in the first 3 games of the season. No. That guy needs to go out on loan somewhere. That's it.
I don't want Eddie anywhere near it at the moment, to be honest. But I'm just saying, like, you know, for coverage. But I corrected myself by saying, if Lacazette, if it's not working, or you know, we're doing really well, then we give Aubameyang some minutes, and we give him that opportunity to say, this is why I should be starting in the next game.
Does anyone think that Aubameyang should start on Thursday?
No.
Does anyone think that?
No.
So as much as I love to pick on Lone Star Londoner, and especially when it comes to this, we need Alba Thursday. Okay, so I none of us think he should start, including me. I agree with everything that Stan just said. It's he has not done nor shot. I will say this in defense of Aubameyang, he is working harder. His
Moving around.
seems a lot better than it did last year. I don't think he's as poo-poo face about not scoring this year as he was last year. But he's in there to do one thing, and that's score. And he's not scoring. So I Lone Star, you have to explain to me why a player whose job it is to score and he's not doing his job, why he still gets to start.
I'll tell you
Rohan, you're the biggest Abba guy here. I want to hear what he has to say.
Glenn,
I like Abba. I like Abba. I feel like I'm talking to my wife, Stan, where we're yelling over each other. Rohan, I like Abba, but you're a big Abba guy. What's your answer?
So I see he's obviously not done enough in the sense that that miss was just you can't explain that. He needs to put that in, and if that game ended 0-0, then we would have all been looking at that, right? Whether or not he should start or be benched, that's a question I'm sort of just 49-51, that sort of a thing. If he was benched, I wouldn't be too fussed about it. But I see the other side as well, which is, Lacazette hasn't played as striker this season. Neither has anyone else. So, Balogun played in the beginning of the season, and I think the question is whether Lacazette should play striker or Aubameyang should play striker. I wouldn't change the rhythm of the team, and for that reason, Aubameyang needs to stay, for me. But if he was taken out because he's not been scoring, when he's got the chance, he's missed that penalty. In fact, he's missed 2 penalties. One he scored on the rebound, one he missed. Given that, I don't know if I'd, I wouldn't be fussed if he was benched, but I think he's still adding value. He still has that threat. It's a big away ground. If it were to me, on me, I would say that I would start Aubameyang up top and Lacazette as that number 10. That was a good. I don't know why we changed that in the last game. It was okay. That 9.5 that this guy Lacazette was playing, because I don't know if they're going to play with 3 at the back. United. If they do, then we can shift our game into that, because we need those 2 strikers. Then any person who's going to have that just one striker is going to, the 3 defenders are going to, sort of mark that player out of the game, and that player is going to have a shit game. That playing Lacazette in that game gives us the option of playing with just the 1 striker or playing up with 2 strikers, and we can adapt with the game. So, I think, that being said, I'd be 51 in favor of him being there, but if he was out, I would be okay.
So the reason why Odegaard started against Newcastle was kind of what I was talking about earlier. Newcastle suck with speed. They can't deal with it. And I think Odegaard unlocks Aubameyang's speed. Whereas if Lacazette played with Aubameyang, they would have just been playing ticky-tacky, really close passes, which Newcastle can deal with. I mean, they can't deal with really that either, but they're better. They're better at dealing with that. They're terrible when it comes to speed. And to me, Odegaard is probably the one player that's going to unlock Aubameyang. I think for Aubameyang to flourish in this team, he needs Odegaard. I think he needs him tremendously. So it's tough because I keep going back and forth because I don't think Lacazette's really doing. Lacazette's not scoring us goals either. So it's like, what do you do? The only reason why I would start Lacazette, because I actually agree with what you're saying, Ryan. And this is a really dumb reason, but I'm gonna say anyway. Like the only reason why I would start Lacazette over Aubameyang is because Lacazette's going to win us a penalty. Maguire is going to give us a penalty, and Lacazette's going to win it for us. Aubameyang's not winning no penalty for us. And if Aubameyang's playing, Aubameyang's probably going to take that penalty and miss it. So to me, I just prefer Lacazette. But then it gets all hazy because I don't know how Lacazette and Odegaard can play together. So it's just the whole system is just. I feel like you need certain players to play certain positions against certain teams, and it's frustrating. Because I like Odegaard. I don't think he's playing well, but I think he needs games. He needs to really kind of fit in with multiple playing styles because, in my opinion, he's only good against a certain type of team. But he's young enough. We need him to get good and be our 10 for every type of team. So, I mean, we need to really test him out.
Can I just say one thing about Aubameyang I forgot to say is he's a streaky player, and that doesn't work well with Arsenal fans who need medication. So that's all I got to say.
Lone Star said, we've been winning, so why change it? We've been winning, but I've been feeling that we've been winning playing with 10 men. And football's an 11-man game, man. Do you know what I mean? And the geezer's not up. He's not able to do what it is that he's being paid to do. That finish that he missed in that game is bread and butter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'll piggyback up what Stan's saying. Real quick. I'll piggyback up what Stan's saying, and I'll go back to what Tanner was saying. We're playing with 10 men, and I completely agree. And Tanner's like, well, we need to beat teams 4-0, 5-0. I think if we had that 11th guy, I think we're beating teams 4-0, 5-0. But we don't have that guy. And I think Aubameyang missing and Aubameyang really he's tracking back, but he's not doing anything. Good. He's coming back. I don't give a fuck. He's not doing anything. So it sucks. And I go back to this. I'm a huge
buy that.
That's fine. You don't have to. But anyway,
in that game, that chance that came to him wasn't really created by us. It was ESR who headed the ball and it came on the rebound, which was that. It's an inexcusable miss that he had,
Yeah.
So that completely agreed, but there wasn't much created for him anyway in that game. We must also acknowledge.
But you're missing the point. We're playing with 10 men. It doesn't matter what's created for him, what's not created for him. Who scored? Saka and Martinelli scored. We had things that were created. He couldn't do anything. And when we're playing defense and when we're trying to play in the middle of the field, we're trying to play in the middle third, he doesn't offer us anything. He doesn't do anything. We're playing with 10 men until we get inside the box. Or if ESR gets a break and Aubameyang starts streaking up, which hasn't really been happening that often. So it's like we need to get in the habit of great Lone Star. I'm glad you're watching. Anyways, do your job. Yeah. We need to play with 11 men for 90 minutes. If Aubameyang wants to randomly show up and make, like I guess I'll go American football, like an American football route. You have a player like Deshaun Jackson, who is a very good player in his day, but he's a guy that's going to get you like a really big 75-yard catch. And yeah, in American football, that probably means a lot more because if he scores a touchdown, that's like 7 points. But he doesn't do anything else. And it's just, you're essentially
he's a one-trick pony.
You guys,
you're Glenn. Shut the fuck up. He's handicapping the team because you're kind of like, okay, well, he's only good for the deep ball. I think Aubameyang's the same way. I think Aubameyang's our Deshaun Jackson, where he's just good for the deep ball. Yeah, I guess he's good when we get really close, but he just doesn't offer us anything. Yeah, Lone Star about how he's working hard. He's running around the pitch more. I wouldn't say he's working harder. He's probably using more fuel in his gas tank because he's running around and he's in more places than he normally is. But as far as like working harder in our third, winning the ball, helping get Lone Star, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Getting the ball out and into making things happen, he doesn't do that. He had that one. I'll give him his credit. He did that one thing. I think it was his goal where he flicked it to ESR and then or maybe ESR scored that goal. Where like we were on a counterattacking break. In the middle of the field, he gave that nice flick to ESR. Yeah, that was nice. But that's once in 5 games. Like you can't play with 10 men for that long.
When someone says to me, right, about a striker that's supposed to be scoring goals, right? That's what we're paying him. over 300 bags a week for, and they don't do that, and then they tell me, but he's really working hard. All I hear is Emil Heskey. That's what I hear. And you know what? I've never been a fucking Emil Heskey fan, and I've never wanted that sort of player at
So overrated. He's so overrated.
At Arsenal. Aubameyang's job is to score goals. He's supposed to be the finisher, especially within the box. That's what he does. He's a penalty box scorer. And right now, Lone Star, you know, as much as I know that you've got a fucking, you take a Aubameyang lunchbox into work with you, and everyone's taking a piss out of you. He ain't doing his job at the minute. It's just a stark reality. And as much as I don't think that Lacazette's really up to it either, it's a change, right? That's what I'm looking for, to try someone else. Let's try someone else, because we've given this guy enough opportunities to work his way back into form. And the geezer can't even strike fucking penalties, man. He can't even put them away. The one that he got was a rebound, the 2 penalties ago. He's off it. For whatever reason, I don't know. I work remotely, Stan. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. That's
you guys. You guys. I wish you could all be in the place that I am right now. I'm confident that Arteta is going to pick the right 11. I'm feeling good about the team, and I like the depth problem we have at most positions.
Everything.
So, you know what? Be negative. Go ahead.
No. You know what, Glenn? Everything you just said, you're right. But this Aubameyang thing, let me put it a different way. Let me make a comparison here. If Aubameyang's job is to score goals and he's not scoring goals, and this, let me scroll back up.
And he's not getting assists either. It's not like he's not scoring but getting assists.
His diagonal runs are excellent. He isn't getting the pass. Okay, Lone Star, explain to me how he put a ball 3 feet to his right into the post on Saturday. He was in front of the net. He wasn't in front of the post. He was in front of the net. So how did he put the ball over there when he should have just put the ball straight?
Tanner, can I ask you a question, Tanner?
I could have scored that goal. Yeah,
Tanner, I've got a question for you, because over the past month or so, when we've been talking about Aubameyang, you've been very staunch with saying that you feel that he doesn't fit the system that we're doing. You still feel that, because you just said he couldn't fucking put the ball away right where he was in front of the goal. So,
and as soon as he hit the post, as soon as he hit the woodwork on Saturday, this is exactly what came into my mind. I thought of this exact, I'll say, debate that you and I, not that you and I have had, you know, it's not a negative thing. It just, I think but now seeing that, it's coming around to there's more at play here. And I started to come around on that last week. I still don't think he fits the system. I still wholeheartedly believe that he doesn't fit the system. But I also now wholeheartedly believe that is not 100% of the problem. There is more at play here. The only thing I'll say about Aubameyang is, because I keep hearing people say, oh, he's just Mesut Ozil 2.0. He got the contract, he got the money, now he doesn't care. I don't buy that. I don't believe that for a second. But let me to kind of go back to dropping him in Lone Star. It's like this. He's your striker. He's supposed to score goals. He's not scoring goals. He's not scoring, and he's not assisting either. And it's not like he's being used as a decoy where he's pulling 2 defenders into negative space so that an ESR or a Bukayo Saka can run into the space, get the ball, and fire it home. He literally, in attack, is damn near useless right now. Here's the comparison. What is your goalkeeper supposed to do? Your goalkeeper's supposed to stop shots, right? So if your goalkeeper's not stopping shots, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave him in because his name's Manuel Neuer, or he's Jan Oblak? So he's, if he goes through a bad spell of 4 games where the ball looks like a thumbtack and he can't see it and it goes by him, are you going to keep starting him, or are you going to drop him? No, you're going to drop him. Because
being dropped isn't something. You shouldn't always look at being dropped as a punishment. It's not a punishment. It's a time for you to. You have to reset. We've tried to play him into form, right? We've been playing him for a while now, and it's not happening. It's now time to let him sit, so that we can say to him, Aubameyang, we know that you're our captain and you get over 300 bags a week, but you're not infallible to the team. We have to try something else. Just like everybody else, you now have an opportunity to work your way back in. You're still going to get minutes, you know. If we're winning 2-0 and 65 minutes, 70 minutes against Man United, and we've started Lacazette, I would expect Aubameyang at some point to come on and have his opportunity. Is he going to make the most of his opportunity like Martinelli did? That's why we're having a conversation now about should Martinelli be starting in the next game, because he took his opportunity. And that's what football's about, taking those opportunities. It's not a punishment. And there's no hate here for Aubameyang. I was happy when we signed him. I was happy when we signed
I was over the moon when we signed him.
I was a massive fan of Lacazette before he came. I knew about him before he came. I knew more about Lacazette than Aubameyang. It's not working out. And at the end of the day, I've got to think of Arsenal as the whole thing.
Well,
do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do a Mesut Ozil and back one player to the heel to the death when it's not working. And can I just say, just talking about this, I noticed a few podcasts in the last week where it's kind of like this. It's almost like if you watch a football game and a player's had a bad game, and then you come on and like we're doing in a forum and we discuss the good and the bad. Discussing the bad in some people's eyes, it's like we shouldn't be doing that. You should be backing the team no matter what. And I do back Arsenal no matter what. But there's no point in us convening here once a week for a couple of hours if we're not going to have a balanced debate. We should be able to have a balanced debate, the good and the bad. Such and such had a bad game in that one. He needs to be dropped. He's not doing well. Such and such, who I've always fucking hated, scored a worldie. I'll give him praise for that one. I love it. There's no harm in that. And it does really piss me off sometimes when there are, and I'm not going to name, but there are some podcasts I watch, and it's almost like if you say anything that is a critique on a player's performance, you're toxic. And in the same podcast, right, we'll do another fucking show, and it's basically a show, Tavares versus Kieran Tierney. Well, that's fucking, you're putting players against each other there for content. It's just a conversation. That's all it is. It's just a conversation. And we should be able to say, we should be able to critique a player and say, well, they've had a shit game. And we should be able to praise players when they've had a good game, even if you don't like the player that had the good game.
Harumph, harumph, harumph. Totally agree with that. You know, the only bad kind of loyalty is blind loyalty. If you can't take a critique about Arsenal and differing opinions and interesting debates, you don't belong on social media.
That's like everybody.
Most Twitter. A lot of harumphing going on tonight, man.
The thing that I think really bothers me about all of this is eventually what it comes down to is we need
to sign a striker in January.
Well,
and I agree.
This Aubameyang debate. At least the captain.
I know what you're doing, Ryan.
Well, if we drop him, we're gonna hurt his feelings. Bro, I'm here to tell you, fuck your feelings.
He hurt my feelings when he turned up late for the North London derby. We couldn't play him.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets dropped on Thursday, and I'm not saying that he will, I'd drop him. I'd have dropped him a long time ago. I'd definitely drop him Thursday. I'd sit him down in the office and I'd say, look, you're not going to start. And when he says, why? Because you're not doing your job. Now, what am I going to? What do you want me to do? You want me to sugarcoat it? You want me to blow sunshine and fairy dust up your ass? Aubameyang has a job to do. His job is to score goals. Mikel Arteta has a job to do. His job is to manage and coach this team to the best of his abilities and hope that they win, because his job is to win. That's Mikel Arteta's job. And right now, Aubameyang, in my opinion, and I think we all agree, maybe some of us don't agree as vehemently as some of us as others, but right now, I think Stan and Ryan and I are pretty adamant that Aubameyang is hindering our ability to win games. We're not winning because of him. We're winning despite him right now.
Man. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like that.
And I've seen the comments that say, yes, Danny, I said fairy dust and sunshine and rainbow.
All right.
But hang on. I lost my train of thought. God damn it.
Sorry.
You were saying, let me pull you back. You were saying about winning in spite of, with Aubameyang. We're winning in spite of him, you were saying.
Yeah, it's so. Somebody in the chat said that Arteta wants to spread the goals around. That's what I've been saying. Again, when you look at the system, what he wants to do, where he came from, Manchester, that's what City does. That's what Arteta wants to do. I'm not whether I agree with it or not, it's neither here nor there. But that's what he wants to do. He wants to spread the wealth. He wants ESR to get 10 to 15, Bukayo Saka to get 10 to 15, Aubameyang get 20 to 25, Lacazette 15, I'd say 13 to 17. Martin Odegaard chipping in with high single digits. Even Thomas Partey chipping in the odd goal, 3, maybe 4. The odd goal from Kieran Tierney, or I think we've seen that Tavares is probably going to score a goal sooner rather than later. Gabriel Martin, Gabriel from a head, a header from a corner or something. Yeah, spread the wealth.
Aaron Ramsdale from a goal kick.
Yep, Aaron Ramsdale. At this point, I'm waiting for him to just use the force. He's just going to use the force. That's how good he is.
I'm waiting for him to a goal kick, and it's just going to lob the whole fucking pitch, lob the king part,
like Tim Howard,
Pat Jennings.
Can I just say, when Aubameyang was at Dortmund, I watched their games every week. Okay, after I watched the Premier League games, I watched the Dortmund game. I did it religiously because I liked Aubameyang. But if Aubameyang doesn't understand sports 101, where if you are in poor form, have a seat for a game or two. I don't want him on the team, but we can't just say that he's going to get all upset about it. We don't know that. That's sports 101. I think most players would understand that.
But I think it just from things that I read, and I know I don't put a lot of stock in it, but I do see it often enough that it makes me. Are these players? Are these guys? And again, I watch a lot of sports, man. I watch a lot of fucking sports, people. A lot, like of different sports. I watch a lot of different fucking sports. And this is the only sport where I hear that guys are going to be boo-boo faced because they got dropped. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't get that.
Michael Carrick dropped CR7 in the last Man United game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Stan, you are on top of shit, man.
I just the thing that gets, I guess, to in summation, I don't care about their fucking feelings. And if you're worried about their fucking feelings, get over it, because I can tell you right now, they ain't giving a goddamn about yours. So quit worrying about their fucking feelings. Jesus Christ. I'm not in Lodestar. We're kind of on this because I'm not saying you care about Aubameyang's feelings. That's not what I'm saying. There are people out there like, oh my God, oh, don't drop it. Oh no. Oh, you're gonna hurt his feelings. Oh my God. Oh, he's gonna go sit in the corner and pout and cry. Oh, stop.
I think he does, and I think Lone Star and Rohan are secret pen pals.
I mean, and look, you know what?
They stop Aubameyang give each other.
Yes, exactly. But he can't really care about the players' feelings either. That's it. Like, part of being a head coach or a manager in sport, you have to be ruthless. You have to be. You have to put out match in, match out, game in, game out. You have to put out the team that you think is going to give you the best opportunity to win, not the team that you think is going to be the happiest that you selected them to play. And right now, the Aubameyang thing, I just don't think. Ryan, you said before that you think Odegaard is the key to unlocking Aubameyang.
Yeah, I think Aubameyang will play the best with Odegaard on the pitch. Yeah.
Do you think that not knowing what Carrick is going to do, because he's interim manager, etc., do you think there is still value in playing Aubameyang and Lacazette both? Considering that if they go with 3 at the back, we can switch to 2 up front. If they go with 2 at the 4 at the back, then we can move Aubameyang to the left or keep him there and have Lacazette as a 9.5, something like that. I think we need to be prepared for what they're going to throw at us, and this is the time to capitalize on it. And a winning team, whether it's despite him, whether it's something else. Other players are not tried and tested. I wouldn't try it in this game. You've got Everton coming up who are out of form. You've got a couple of other games that will come up where we can afford to do that. I wouldn't change a winning team to make a statement at this point. But I get what you're saying, because you're saying that it's not even a statement; it's a requirement at this point.
I can't wholeheartedly disagree with what you just said, Rowan. We are winning. And that's the one big asterisk next to everything we just said about Aubameyang. We
win
are
better?
still winning. What's that?
Could we win better?
Yes.
We could also
think
lose.
so.
I agree. I'm just devil's advocate because I agree with you, Stan. Can we lose? Granted, he had no involvement in either goal. I mean, there's a chance that we could have lost with Aubameyang on the bench. I mean, it's tough. It's funny, this whole conversation. I'm kind of sitting back and listening to you guys, and I keep going back and forth because now I'm thinking like maybe we should play Aubameyang. Because I think Man U are going to be very aggressive with us. They're going to come at us with a high press, and I think this is a game where we probably
not if Ronaldo's playing, mate. He hasn't pressed in how long?
But I think he won't press, but I think they're going to press high up the pitch because it's Carrick's last game, and you're at Old Trafford. You're going to be aggressive, and B, Ralph Rangnick is a known manager who loves to press high up the pitch. So,
hang on, Ryan. Why is it then that Rangnick, right? He has to go in front of the FA to get and talk to them about getting a work permit, because they're like, how the fuck are you coming in as a manager when you ain't fucking managing how long? You're a fucking technical director. You're coming in as a manager. He has to go in front of the board at the FA, and he'll probably get it, but he's got to fucking explain himself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This guy hasn't managed a team in how long? That's not really his bag, is it? And I don't mean to jump ahead in the conversation, but I just want to put it out there. I really think we're going to get something against fucking Man United, because all they have done up there is gotten rid of a figurehead. Ollie wasn't the one that was sitting down with Michael Carrick and saying, this is the training plan for this week, Michael. Go out there and implement it with the players. I think that the training team have been part of Man United now for well before fucking Ollie Solskjaer. I think they've been there under a few managers.
Yeah,
and
Mourinho too.
And I agree with Roy Keane when he says it's fucking jobs for the boys up there. So nothing has changed. They've got rid of a figurehead, but the actual what goes on the training pitch and how they play and the players responding to that, they're still responding to the same old shit.
It's that when you get a small leash, then you try to make the most of it, right? Like that's why making a statement like going to Stamford Bridge and dropping Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You are playing Ronaldo, but seeing that our fullbacks are so attacking, trying something there, or playing a back three to cancel out. Like the more I talk about it, I see value in playing both Aubameyang and Lacazette, their experience, their
but only if we play them as a two, Rohan. If we play them as two out and out strikers,
for me, if they're
playing that, Lacazette's wasted here, man. For me,
no. If it's a back three, then you play, Aubameyang slightly in front, Lacazette slightly in the back. So he's not a 10, he's a 9.5. He's
Odegaard for that position for me. I really think Odegaard plays that position much, much better than Lacazette.
The thing is that if that's a back three, then because if it's a back four with two center halves, then you don't need to play that. Then Aubameyang can shift to the left. Lacazette can go up front, or
I don't want to see Aubameyang crossing into the box anymore. I want him in the box.
We can do something like that. Like I think that we should be prepared, because Carrick will want to make a statement, right? Like last game in charge in front of Old Trafford, doing something there, and this gives us flexibility. Playing the Aubameyang and Odegaard combination will not give us that flexibility that a Lacazette and Aubameyang will give. That's what I think. And again, the experience will count there. At the end of it, it's the question of either playing. So okay, so let's say
What about playing Lacazette and Martinelli, and having Martinelli as a slightly deeper one, doing all the harrying around, and
I
Lacazette as that
playing at Old
penalty box,
Trafford.
more for
I will
penalty
not
box.
want to. I will not want to, experiment in that way. So you're saying
I get what you're saying about the
your
disruption.
front four, you're saying is Lacazette up front, Smith Rowe on the left, Martinelli on the right, and Odegaard as the number 10.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that instead of Odegaard, it's Lacazette there. Aubameyang is up front. Because if it's two, then then Aubameyang can sort of move to the left, or he can stay there, and we can still have that 9.5 for Lacazette, and then you make an early sub, 55th minute sub, where where you have this one coming on, where you have.
I hear all of that, but I'm with Tanner. We've been winning in spite of the bad displays of Aubameyang, and I honestly feel that we've been carrying a passenger.
Yeah.
Because he's not able to do. And when I mean carrying a passenger, I'm not going on like what I used to be like with Ozil, because I watched him and he was mobile. He did have a better demeanor and attitude about himself, but now it's just down to he's just not able to do his job at the minute. No matter how fucking happy he is or whatever and running around, when the ball falls to him in the penalty box, he can't tuck it away. He can't even tuck away a penalty. Right? I just think he needs to sit for a while, and it would be better for him and it will be better for us. If he sits for a while, we might be able to get him back into form a lot quicker than continually playing him and fucking caressing him and giving him all these chances. Do you know what I'm getting at?
No, I agree
We'll
with
find
that.
out a little bit more about this guy.
After United, we've got Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Leeds, Norwich, right, and Wolves. This is game week 15 through 20. So we've got enough time to bench him. That's why we don't need to do it day after tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. You want to do it on the weekend? I'm all for it. There would be a different answer because Everton are out of form. Then you can experiment a little bit. I don't know how much they can change also within their formation, etc. I mean, Everton is just down in the dumps. So we better not lose to them because we've got that sort of record, right? We bring teams into form, so that sort of thing. So if we get a result, a draw here, then winning at Everton is important. If you win here, then winning at Everton is important. I mean, either way, if winning at Everton is essential. But here, I don't think we need to change that much for this game specifically. There's 5 more games to.
I'd like to just go back to Ryan's original question because I'm confident Arteta's going to pick a brilliant starting 11. I enjoy being in this place, by the way, with Arteta. That I'm confident in him. But back to Ryan's question.
You enjoyed being in this place with us, you fucker. All right, I thought it was going to backhand your compliment.
You guys keep throwing the fucking shit out in the water, and I keep looking at it. Listen. I'm old school, okay? I can't think of what an acceptable loss would be, all right? I am like Stan, though. I'm pretty damn confident we're going to come away with at least a point on Thursday.
So I want to get into the bigger picture here, and this is going to be this is going to be kind of where we wrap up because we're at about an hour and a half, and I'm sure this will easily go on another 15 to 20 minutes. So, but I want to look at the game itself and not just individuals as everything we've just gone on with Aubameyang or starting 11s and Arteta. I think last week before, or I should say, I guess a week and a half ago now, before the Liverpool game, I would say none of us were overly confident that we were going to get anything from that. Now we got our doors blown off. That's what we got from it. But this feels different. This just feels different. This feels like we should go in there and get a result.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this on my way home from work, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys. from my way home from work tonight, I was thinking, what's the worst thing? Well, I was thinking about it at work because I had the the Leeds Crystal Palace game. I had it on TV at work. And I'm looking, they're showing the table, and then I'm like, okay, I'm curious. I want to see, what does the table look like? Not a draw on Thursday keeps us 5th. And I think to myself, okay, the goal is to qualify for European football. It's Europa League or bust. Obviously, Champions League would be wonderful, but at this point, it's Europa League or bust. Maintain league position, maintain 5th. So I'm like, okay, so a draw does that because no one else can level us other than I think Wolves. I think Wolves can draw level and they go ahead on goal differential. But a draw keeps us in 5th place. So it's like it feels different than Liverpool because I wasn't expecting much from Liverpool. But I expect something on Thursday. Does this feel different in that sense to you than what Liverpool felt? Rowan, Rowan and then Glenn. We'll start there. So Rowan, go ahead.
In the start of the season, with Ronaldo coming in, especially, I thought that the top 4 is sealed, right? The 3 who are on top, and then you had Manchester United. Leicester have been doing better than us over the past couple of seasons. Tottenham have been doing better than us, etc., etc. Now, all of a sudden, there's a big ray of hope for us to not just qualify in 5th or 6th as for the Europa League spot, but that 4th has opened up, right? Where you've got West Ham, where you've got Tottenham, but we've got a 4-point lead on them, although we've played one game more already. You've got Manchester United, who I thought were going to finish at least 4th, if not higher, and we've got a 5-point lead on them. It's not just 3 points here, but it's also about keeping a rival at bay, right? If we draw there, we've got a 5-point cushion, right? And then we see them the next time at home. Hopefully we've got the advantage by then. Who knows how they're going to perform? Squad wise, they're a better squad than us, so I expect them to make up those points, right? If we win here, an 8-point gap, that's going to be amazing. 8 points is going to be a lot for them to pick up, and seemingly we put one team at bay who's vying for that 4th place. So this game matters a lot. Playing away at Old Trafford, it's not just this game, it's not just game week 14, but it's about our Champions League spot, 24 games later, 24 game weeks later, that this will count. That's why it's a bigger game today. With Liverpool were not our competition. We are not Liverpool's competition, rather. And Liverpool will beat probably everybody who's in and around us, right? They got beaten by West Ham, but they beat United convincingly. They beaten Spurs. All of these games have already happened. So for that reason, this feels bigger, and I feel confident. Before the new manager comes in, interim, low on confidence, we are riding high. No better time to play them away, and we've got to get a result for that.
BG, I was not laughing at your question. I was laughing because we're in the exact same place. When it comes to Arsenal, we're Star Trek, Spock. What is love? As Arsenal fans, we're like, with Arsenal fans, we're like, what is optimism? What is this optimistic feeling, Captain?
Hang on, because if you use any other Star Trek reference, I'm not going to get it because I'm not a Star Trek guy. But I got that one. That's the only Star Trek reference I would get.
What is love, Captain? What is optimism, guys? What is this feeling of optimism? We're getting a result, boys. We're getting a result.
Ryan.
I don't even remember the question. I was too
I
busy
figured you
lolling over Rohan's articulation and Glenn laughing at you. It was funny.
I wasn't laughing at.
I was kidding, Glenn. I was again. Glenn.
Okay.
How the Liverpool thing? Like, did you feel going into Liverpool that there was any? Did you expect anything? And going into to Thursday, do you expect something?
It's just,
Do you feel differently going into United than you did before
Yeah.
Liverpool?
100%.
Okay.
Because, and I think Rohan, I mean, we've all, I feel like I've alluded to this, but Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City are kind of in their own league playing with each other, which fair with that, fair point. I think Man U can get there, but they're just, I don't know what their deal is, but it's funny enough. So my cousin is a big Man U fan. And I've been talking to him. I was actually talking to him throughout the game against Watford. And the one thing I said to him in watching the game was, yeah, I mean, let's face it, behind closed doors, Ole's got to go. Like, as much as I tweet about how he's the best manager ever and he needs to stay, he's a problem. I think the bigger problem is their players. I don't think Ole's a good manager, but I think these players, I think they're not good. They don't gel well together, and I think Ole is just the easy fix. He's the easy scapegoat. And fair point, because I think they do need a new change of scenery. And I think with Ragnick, nice Glenn. With Ragnick, I think they're going to actually go places. And I've said this to a bunch of my friends. And I know Rowan will probably disagree with me on this, but I'm way more upset that Man U got Ragnick than the Spurs getting Conte. I think Conte is good. I think he can do things. Ragnick is gonna transform them. Ragnick is gonna transform that team. He'll help manage. That'll be great. But when he gets as a consultant, I think, as long as they listen to him, of course, I think he can really transform that team. But with that all being said, right now, they're asking for it. They bought Ronaldo when they didn't need him, and to be fair, I think Ronaldo's not helping them out. I think Ronaldo's making the team overall worse. I just think that he's such a good player that he still scores here and there and still makes his presence known because he's one of the best players to ever play the game. I think they're going to be, like I said before, I think they're going to be very aggressive. But I think that's playing into. I think they're going to be playing into our hands. But we're going to need performances out of a lot of players that I mentioned earlier that really haven't shown me anything. I think Partey needs to have a good game, which, funny enough, his best game in an Arsenal shirt was against Man U. So let's hope that we could string things together. But again, to answer your question finally, shortly, no, I'm not worried about Man U, because Man U is a team that we could dismantle, not dismantle as in like beat them 5-0, but dismantle it as in break them down and just make them quit and really break their will and impose our will on them. And I think with how we're playing, I think we're the perfect team to do that. And again, just ripe for the picking because they have an inexperienced caretaker right now. And who knows, maybe he'll bench Ronaldo like he did against Chelsea, because it did them a whole lot of good. Mic drop.
Stan, what do you got?
So I'm just looking into what Ibrahim Demnin put in the chat box. So there is something going on.
Oh, you didn't hear about? You didn't? That was in August.
Oh, was it
in August? Yeah, happened in August, and he got sentenced today. I think that's why.
Oh, okay. All right. I've never seen the footage.
Whoa.
There is video footage. I thought this had happened like today.
I thought you guys knew about this. I'm sorry to bring it up. I thought you guys all knew about
But just looking at the footage, though, Gabriel Megalegs drives his Mercedes into his garage, and they're waiting for him with a baseball bat. And you see him with his hands up, and he gives him a watch. Looks like his watch. And then there's something happening, and it cuts, and there's something happening around the other side where the guy with the baseball bat is fucking trying to bat someone. Oh. So, I mean, obviously it wasn't Gabriel because he played or whatever, but I didn't realize this was back in August. I thought, I've never heard of this. Didn't know it happened. But yeah,
I didn't realize it was back in August either. So news to me too. Holy shit.
It does say here in the headline, it says Arsenal star Gabriel in horror baseball bat attack. He fights off masked thugs who followed him home to try and steal his £45,000 Mercedes and watch. as Tottenham drug dealer is jailed for 5 years over robbery. So this must be the roundup then of it happening. It sounds like it was a Tottenham drug dealer who was involved in doing this.
Did you say this
So
happened in
wait.
August? This happened in August? I didn't even hear of it.
So
I didn't. I just googled it now, and I'm just looking at the video.
Wait, so am I understanding correctly that Tottenham Hotspur are dealing drugs and sent someone to basically Nancy Kerrigan, Gabrielle,
I reckon it was probably a failed kidnap attempt to get him to play for in their back four. This one's bad.
I saw the thing earlier today. I didn't realize it happened back in August. No shit. Well, I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this.
It's just the press. They just want their clicks and.
No. I was just All I was just one more reason why. I mean, I'm glad he was able to fight him off. One more reason why maybe. Never mind. I'm done. I'm not going to say it.
I tell you what, right? Those geezers are lucky.
Shut up, Hannah. No one wants to hear
those blokes are lucky that he didn't have fucking Koloshinac with him, mate. It would have ended.
It would have ended real bad, like Dalton in Roadhouse.
Arsenal defenders are undefeated outside off the pitch.
Sure are.
Also, I guess it's only breaking news. This was earlier today. Apparently, Ralph Ragnick won't start until mid-December.
Yeah, he's got to convince them that he's not a ringer.
Interesting.
But why? I mean, I'm sure that he has his coaching license badges or whatever that you need, right? Like there are people who are out of the job for very long. This guy Eddie Howe was out of a job for a year and a half, and now he's managing. So I don't understand what this is about.
Ralph's been out for a really long time.
A long time.
Yeah, he's out longer than that.
Is there some sort of expiry date on your? On your this thing, and what do you mean really long time? Wasn't he Leipzig manager like in 2018-19 season or something like that?
No, I think it was the season before that. Well, I know I did a little spiel on him right before we hired Emery, and he was just leaving RB Leipzig, I think. So when did we get Emery? Was 3 years ago.
Why not just bring him in his consultancy role? What he's going to do, and keep Carrick as your fucking interim.
I think that's what I was going to answer Rowan's question by saying I think it's nothing to do with his it's visas, and it's on top of that. I think it's kind of what Stan said. Make sure nothing fishy's going on
because he was not because RB Leipzig till 2019.
Yeah, so that's longer than that's longer than Eddie Howe. Anyways. Glenn, shut the fuck up. So what I was gonna say was I think it's more of sneaky shit in the fact that like you're bringing in a guy who used to manage, you're gonna bring him in as an interim manager, then he's gonna go to the office. Like it just, I'm not saying it's fishy, but it's
what the idea there, and this is not a United podcast, but my thinking is that he is obviously they've said that he's going to be dealing with contract extensions and also the next manager, etc. So now he's going to have a hands-on experience of how these players are, and then he's going to have a major say on who gets sold and who stays in that, and that's why they've given him the role, so that he's not just hearing that from Carrick, but he's seeing that himself because he's the one giving orders, and so he gets that experience. But whatever, he's Manchester United manager, and I don't care about him.
I have tremendous amount of respect for Manchester United, but they're going through right now this whole interim thing that Arsenal went through, and we were a hot mess during that. So that just gives us another advantage going into Thursday.
For me, if you're in this situation that Man United are in, and you're really looking to bring in an interim manager that is really going to do something, there's only one man that they should have brought in. That was Gus Hiddink for me. That's what he does. Gus Hiddink can go into any team. He's like a Rafa Benitez. He's one of them guys that can go in anywhere, just fit in, shore things up, get results for you, and then you bring in whoever you want to bring in.
Or whatever his name
Imagine they brought in Gus Hiddink as the manager and Ralph Ragnick as the role that he's going to be doing. That would have been a nice start for them, I think.
Man U on paper are a hell of a team. They just need a competent coach that can gel everything.
I don't think they're that good. I gave them a lot of credit. I don't think they're that good.
It's all Pogba's fault.
Yeah. They're missing quite a number of people too. I guess on Thursday, Pogba's not playing. Someone else that's not playing. Who I was like, oh, good.
I mean, we're talking about a team that's been getting their successes under Ollie of playing counter-attacking football, and then they go out and bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're just basically saying, you just stay up there, and if we can get the ball to you, I'll try and get something out of it. All you're going to do with something like that is make Cristiano Ronaldo look average, because you're not playing to his strengths. The only reason they brought him in was to stop City getting him. They should have let City get him. Might have fucked him up a bit.
Their defense right now is kind of our defense. What, like 3 years ago? Harry Maguire's Mustafi.
Harry Maguire.
You have Fred doing his best Xhaka impression. I mean, it's just Wan-Bissaka is Bellerin. I mean, it's scary how much their defense really mirrors our defense from Varane. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't think of who it was. Their defense really mirrors our defense from a few years ago. So it sucks because, again, the game's not played on paper, but on paper, I'm not scared of them. I don't think they're a good team. I think we're better. I think we're going to impose our will and really do a number. But I hate when you do this, Tanner, but I'm making way too many American sports references. But when you talk about American football, if it's a division rivalry game, the games are just always close. Even if one team on paper is a lot better than the other team, the games just somehow end up, it's sometimes like a nail biter. So I still think the game's going to be very close, and the game's going to be won just in the trenches, and it's going to be inches, and there may be a call or two that may decide the outcome of this game, which I'm not happy about because it is Man U, and to me, Man U is the New York Yankees of baseball, and they're just gonna. I just feel like they get every call. They're England's team. How Harry Kane might be England's golden boy. Well, I think Man U is the golden team of England, and hopefully we could really just, like I said, impose our will and prove that we're a better team, because we are. And we just gotta play them and not their logo, not their team.
One last topic, and it's a bit interesting because there's a lot of talk about it last week. I guess Arteta had some comments, and I'm not going to sit here and look them up, but I guess the Invincible documentary came out, of course, and Arsene Wenger has been around London and doing different things, with press and things like that. So, Stan, I'll start with you. Would you bring Arsene Wenger back in an executive type role? I guess in an executive / advisory type role.
Well, right now, what jumps to mind is if we can bring Arsene Wenger back, then that means that hopefully that will save us from a fucking World Cup every 2 years. So there's that to think about.
Yeah.
But you know what? After watching the Invincibles video, which I'll be totally honest, I found it quite nostalgic in a lot of ways, good things and bad things. I did really find it quite nostalgic. My missus was taking the piss out of me, asking me if I was crying. I was just trying to explain to her that my hay fever was really bad that night. And then she reminded me that in the 11 years that we've been together, she's never known me to suffer from fever. But that's another argument. But I think that, if the manager is asking for it, I mean, this guy does have a lot of pull. He has an aura around him. If he comes back into the club in a slightly, like an upstairs position, in the way that Alex Ferguson is still connected to Man United, we don't read about Alex Ferguson working at Man United in the papers every day. We don't see people talking about what he's doing at Man United. But when the game is on, they flash up to the box, he's there. And I know, for example, that, the reason that Cristiano Ronaldo at the last minute decided not to go to Man City and to Man United, it wasn't because he got a call from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who played with him. He got a call from Alex Ferguson, And if you've got somebody around the club and the manager's happy to have him in that capacity, and there's a young French starlet that we're looking at, and there's a lot of clubs circling. It's going to be handy to have someone like Arsene Wenger picking up the phone and having a chat with the lads about why he should come to Arsenal. And as Tony Turner, quite rightly points out, Robert Pires is probably, he's basically Arsenal's caretaker now. Got like the brown coat, he's always there. He's around doing something at the club. We don't know what he does, but he's around. And if we have Arsene Wenger in that capacity, where he's not stealing the limelight, but he's there, we see him on match days, and he's doing the sort of that Alex Ferguson quietly in the background. I'm all for it. All for it.
I've heard of some women having daddy issues. I never knew it could happen to guys like Arteta. But as far as that goes,
wow, well done. That was yeah.
No, but seriously, I'm just being a wise ass. I'm just being a wise ass because I'm high. So listen, what was I thinking? Oh, yes, I have no problem with Wenger coming back as long as somebody tells him, hey, Arsene, you don't have that huge advantage anymore. Everybody has the internet now. If they tell him that, I don't care if he comes back. That's how a lot of his success happened.
Right. I'll be quick, Rohan. Let me go. I'll go really quick. I do not give a fuck. I don't care. Sure, great to have him back. If he doesn't come, good. They literally couldn't care any less on this question. Rohan, floor is yours. Go for
it. I follow Arsenal because Arsene Wenger was the manager. I mean, he played a brand of football that got me attracted to the Arsenal, and I think I have said this on many, many parts that for me, he is the footballing father, right? Like, I think Arsenal would be half the club that it is right now if it was not for him. And he's sort of the victim of his own success of the first 8 years. But if somebody tells you that over 20 years, your manager is going to win you 10 major trophies, going to go unbeaten in a season, etc., you're probably going to take it because that averages out to be, a trophy every other season, and not counting how many trophies we've been runners up in, right? So, be it the Champions League, you're going to come close to winning the Champions League for the first time. You're going to, be in the final of the League Cup, etc., etc. You get the point. I think the way that we dealt with Arsene Wenger when he was going, it was. I would have wanted him gone as well after the win against Hull.
Yeah,
I think Jurgen Klopp, I really wanted him because I used to follow Dortmund at that point, and I loved the way Jurgen Klopp played, and he has that aura that sort of fits Arsenal, right? And I would have liked him, but I was never in the Wenger out brigade who would yell, because I still feel that he earned the right to sort of decide when he had to go. And it was not his fault that he had so much power. It was the people who were above him who gave him all of that power. All of this long story coming to the point that, the way that we dealt with him, I don't think was good enough. And he sort of had to go out through the back door, right? And I feel bad that, Alex Ferguson, every time he's there, and he's there with an authority that he's still a figure at Manchester United, while our greatest manager has not come back to the Emirates, right? So first thing I would do is build him a statue. That has to be done. One. Two is that I don't think he himself, the control freak that Wenger is for all of his things, like he's had so much control. I wouldn't get him as an executive, and on a permanent basis, because he's going to itch to have control.
An ambassador.
He should be sorry, what?
Like an ambassador kind of a
Yeah, exactly. He should be an ambassador for the club. He should be an ambassador for the club, like Alex Ferguson is, who can be a consultant for the club. For some major decisions, he can be consulted, but he's not an everyday. He's not Edu, right? Who's again going to come under the scanner. Again, people are going to bitch about him. I don't want him there, but I think for our club, we need that mascot, that guy who's our face. And we've lost that. And we've lost a bit of character because of that. I'd want that back. So I'm not like Ryan, who would say that, I don't give a fuck whether he comes or goes, because I think there is a lot of value, and that value has been brought in by him, and that's one of the reasons why I love this club. Right?
Can I
And we
just say
don't-
as well,
Okay.
your sentiment FC, he says the sentiment for Wenger is ridiculous, and I'm sorry, my friend. You know, I've been supporting this team a long time, and you know, some of the best football I have seen, right, came under Arsene Wenger. I'm sorry. You know, I can remember friends of mine that supported other teams would fucking come to watch Arsenal games with me because they enjoyed watching the football. Some of them are fucking Tottenham. My mate Reliable Dave, man, when I lived in Spain, he'd come to fucking Arsenal games and that with me. And he said they were grumpy now, but he loved watching it. And you cannot forget that. How can you not have sentiment and affection and fond memories of someone? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I want him to be in a role where at half time, Mikel Arteta is giving a team talk and he stops and turns around and goes, Arsene, would you like to add anything? And Arsene's there, look, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not saying that's what we should be doing, but I would rather have him be an ambassador for Arsenal than an ambassador for another club.
I gotta say, there was a point in my life where if I could have had dinner with any person in the world, it would have been Arsene Wenger. I have much respect for him. He's only made 2 mistakes, in my opinion. 1, selling Van Persie for $25 million to Manchester United, and 2, not retiring after that FA Cup win. But I still love him and respect him.
May I also just add as well, just watching that documentary, he was a football manager. And we needed to move from Highbury because we could only get in 38,500. Newcastle gets in, what is it, 55, 60,000? We couldn't build. And the only way that we were getting a loan from the bank is that the bank turned around and said, we can give you the money, but we need to know that Arsene Wenger is going to be a part of this for at least the next 5 years. What a predicament to put a man in.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
he's
didn't know
given
that.
his best years for the club when he knew that it was going to be cash strapped, right?
And why did Arsene say yes? Because Arsenal came to him and they asked him. Arsenal went to Wenger, and Wenger was like, he probably was like, but he loved the club. He was like, fuck it, okay, if this is going to help us. But now he's put himself in that predicament that if during that 5-year period, things start going pear-shaped and he's not able to get results, the club couldn't react like a normal club because it would have probably defaulted on the bank loan. It was part of the underwriting of the deal that he was involved. And that put us in a very unique situation. One that from what I understand, Arsene really didn't want to be in that. He wanted us to grow as a club. He was happy that we were getting a new stadium. He was involved in the design of certain aspects and all of that. But he was basically a fucking guarantor. That is not normal.
Yeah.
That is not normal.
Stan, this documentary, you have me like feverishly wanting to watch it. Now, you said you saw it on YouTube, but it's not there anymore.
No, it's been removed, mate.
What's the title of it? Because if it's not streaming, I think I'm going to buy it. I am dying to watch it.
It's just called Arsene Wenger Invincible.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you download stuff, maybe you'll find it on any download site. It's been out since around about, I think it formally was released the 23rd of November, 24th, something like that. So it might be. I was under the impression that it was going to be on Amazon Prime as well, and I was trying to find it to download. And then Ray from Fan Circle sent me a link that it was on YouTube, and I've tweeted it out and I put it in our group. But you'd never see that, Glenn, because you always fucking leave our private group. So
and it's been removed from there.
That's your fault, mate. But yeah, it's
maybe all right, everybody. The show's over. Let's take.
I'll tell you where else you might find it on this. You know that thing called Google Play where you rent stuff. It might be on that as well. Google Play.
Okay.
All right, fellas, we're gonna wrap up.
Can I just answer a question? Mike Mosley, you've been watching too much TV. Well, I'm fucking unvaccinated. I'm not allowed to go out anywhere. All right, I can't go to pubs, can't go to restaurants, can't do nothing.
I am. On that note, real quick, I am convinced that Why Not Sentiment FC. I'm convinced he hates Arsenal. Like I'm just convinced that this person just hates them.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of I'm getting what's his fucking name?
Whatever Stan, would you keep your ex around whilst your new girlfriend whilst you have a new girlfriend. Same thing, bringing Wenger back. It's weird. Arteta he's the one that's banging the drum for it. So you know what? If my
So the new girlfriend finds the old girlfriend pretty hot, wants to bring her in and get her involved.
Exactly. I'm gonna be like, okay.
I mean, why not? That's a real bad, that's a bad comparison. That's a bad parallel.
Guys, before my wife drags me off, my final word is Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1.
Hey, Glenn.
Final.
Glenn.
That's
I wasn't doing final words. You fucking jerk off.
Well, you're not going to see my wife coming in here screaming either, so you better hurry up.
Hey, get out of here before the large thing actually comes to fruit. Wow, boy, you don't have to tell him. Don't have to tell him twice for anything, do you? Jesus.
He's like Roadrunner, and he's like me, and he's off.
Yeah, right.
What's your thought on it, Tanner?
On the Wenger thing, if he's an ambassador, I get it. But more of just like an ambassador, face of the club kind of thing. I don't want to make decisions. Just a figurehead.
Not day-to-day decisions, but if we are in that position, we've said many times, right? If you have to choose the next manager, who's going to go and talk to them? Who's going to sell a plan?
Yes. That's to me, yeah, that's part of, I think, being in it. Like Fergie up at United. I mean, he's not making day-to-day. He's not making decisions, period. Yeah. Now, he's being used as a pawn in negotiations, is what he's being used as. But he's happy to do it because he knows the pull that he has. He was instrumental in bringing Ronaldo back to United. In fact, Ronaldo probably only came back.
They should have just said that you brought Ronaldo back. Now you fucking come back and become the interim manager and handle this shit.
Here's the thing, though, right? If it's all going to be down to if Arsenal approach Arsene Wenger and offer him as what we're suggesting, this ambassador's role, is that going to be enough of a job for Arsene Wenger? Because he's doing all this stuff with like FIFA. He's doing other stuff. He's doing his fucking punditry on BN. And you know what I mean? It can probably still do that. But I mean, is that going to be enough? Or would he want, if he's going to come back to Arsenal, would he want to be in that kind of maybe space between Edu and the board?
I don't think after he's left, he's not come back once. I don't think he wants anything to do with Arsenal, to be honest. And that's the really sad thing about this.
That actually reminds me of, and what like Lomstar was saying, that actually reminds me of, and my ex-girlfriend. I don't want much of unless the threesome's on the card.
Ryan, you didn't have much to say on this. I'll give you a final word. Do you have anything? You got anything left?
No, I think it goes back. I kind of sort of gave my final word earlier. I just hope that we have a lot of young players, and they need to realize, they have a really good chance taking all 3 points, and they don't need to worry like, oh, it's Man U, and like they're finally getting their shit together, and Ronaldo. Like, I don't want Tavares drooling over Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo because that's where he wants to be one day. Like, I don't want that. Because I just think we're the better team, and I know I'm infamous for saying that, but I really am not worried about their team at all. I mean, I'm worried about Ronaldo putting the team on his back and getting them, in the game. But they're defensively. I'm telling you, man, defensively they're just so bad, and having Harry Maguire available, I think will be good for us, and hopefully we can get Martinelli and or Lacazette, in there and get some penalties for us. But yeah, I'm excited. It'll be good to get some points off of Man U.
Yeah. Stan, shout out the chat real quick.
Yeah, we had quite a lot popping in tonight. Renette has just come in as well. Obviously, our man Lone Star Londoner has been in there as well. Sentiment FC, love Arsenal, hate Cronky. Took me a while to get that name to be rolled off my tongue like that. Thanks for joining us, my old son. Daniel Shaw's been in there. Mike Mosley's been in there. Who else has been? Let's have a look. Who was the new guy that we saw that joined? He told us that he'd been listening in. But I believe it was David in Georgia. Yeah, I'm scrolling back. Daniel Shaw, BX Gunner 81 popped in. Tony Turner, Ray Anderson. And I'm sure his name was Charlie. John Iadavia, another name that I've not seen in the chat box. Thank you for joining us. To all of you, look, listen, all of you lot that come in and sit with us on a Tuesday, we love it, mate. We really appreciate you lot coming in, and you do a lot of stuff in the chat box. Even though a lot of you might rip me as well, I love it. Keep coming back.
Lolo on the stoop was in there too.
Lolo on the stoop was in a little bit earlier, and he's probably left now because I know that he's on the baby duties, having just had a new addition to his family in the last couple of weeks. So if you are listening in the background, Lolo, mate, I hope you're getting some sleep.
Yeah. Danny the GFP was in there as well. I remember
And
seeing
Danny.
him. So yeah, that's all we got. It's on to Old Trafford and the old nemesis. So I like where we're at. And
2-1 Arsenal, my prediction.
yeah, stay tuned Thursday. There will be a
2-1.
pregame show Thursday. Probably no post-game show, at least not with me on Thursday.
Did anyone else give a score, by the way? Did anyone else give a score? I'm saying 2-1. Anyone else?
No, I was going to save it for the pregame. I was going to save
okay.
Which Ryan, I don't know if you'll be a part of that. You might be able to jump in late. I know you were.
Maybe. But if not, I'm saying 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Okay. Rowan?
Close one. I feel like it's going to be 1-1, but I want us to win 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, obviously give me the win. I'm going to save mine. I don't even have anything just like jumping off the page at me right now.
Oh, just had someone jump in from the Philippines.
Tubbs MT.
MB Tubio.
Yep, they've been in here before.
Tubbs, I lived in the Philippines for 2 years. I lived in Manila and then in Amita. So I hope you're doing well over there. And I know that it's the rainy season now, so I hope you're keeping yourself safe, mate. And you'll probably get this as well. When I lived in the Philippines, I was known as Calabor. You know what that means? Calabor, they used to call me. You know what that means.
He comes in guns blazing, man. 4-0 to the Arsenal. Love it. Love the confidence. That's all we got for you. So stay tuned to the Twitter accounts and everything. Now that we've surpassed 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, a lot of different things will open up for us now. So I can actually make posts on YouTube. So you can stay tuned for that as well. Obviously, if you don't follow us on Twitter, if you don't do Twitter, set the alerts. Click the little bell on the on the show channel, or on the channel rather, and you'll get an alert whenever we're live. So you'll know if there's a pregame show or not. So stay tuned for that. That's all we got. It has been good footy talk as always, gentlemen. Everyone in the chat, we'll see you out there.